Alright guys, the update is almost here. We're literally right on the edge of it now. Next week, the long-awaited Dead Rails update finally drops. If you didn't watch my previous video, the official date says November 23rd, at least according to the Roblox main menu. For some of you, it might even be the 22nd, depending on your time zone. But either way, we're basically days away. So today, we're going over another batch of potential concepts that could appear in the game in future updates. And let me repeat this again for anyone who's brand new to my videos. Every idea in these concept videos comes from the most reliable source for future Dead Rails content, the Suggestions tab on the official Discord. That's the place where devs sometimes grab ideas, and plenty of updates were inspired by highly upvoted or really well thought out concepts there. So yeah, no need to drag this out, let's get straight into it. But before we start the video, I want to ask you guys to please drop a like and subscribe. It helps me so much right now and keeps me motivated to make videos every time. Thank you all so much, and now let's begin. Let's start with something very interesting. We already know that the devs have been remodeling weapons, reworking old models and adding new ones. And honestly, if there's one weapon that would fit Dead Rails perfectly, it's the scrap Flamethrower. This is exactly the kind of weapon the game is missing. Something homemade, brutal, messy, and extremely Dead Rails coded. Imagine walking across the wasteland, holding down the trigger, and everything in front of you slowly starts melting under a wave of fire. Zombies burning, werewolves backing away, everything engulfed in that slow but satisfying flame damage. The flamethrower itself wouldn't look clean or even remotely professional. It would literally look cobbled together from metal pipes, broken machine parts, rusted bolts, and a hose leading into a fuel tank tied together with tape. You could reload it by using Molotovs as fuel, or, if the devs want more depth, special fuel canisters made just for it. This would not be some overpowered meta weapon. Its damage wouldn't be too high, but the effect would be incredible. The burning, the smoke, the sparks, a pure visual weapon that adds chaos to any run of Flamethrower in Dead Rails just fits. And honestly, seeing this thing in-game would make combat feel way more dynamic. Next, we have a concept that would completely transform the castle. And that is, of course, Count Dracula. People have been saying for a while that the castle deserves something more meaningful than just the vampire knife. And this concept finally brings that wow factor. Imagine a boss the size of a werewolf with 1,500 hit points, wrapped in a dark red cloak, and strong enough to turn the entire map into Vampire Night until you defeat him. He moves slightly faster than the player, hits for 75 damage, and attacks every 2 seconds, which makes every hit terrifying. He doesn't fight alone either. He summons minions with bright red cloaks, who are tougher than regular vampires, faster, and more aggressive. But thankfully, they don't teleport. The coolest part is how he appears. If you're inside the castle the moment he spawns, the game will literally throw you outside metal gates slammed shut around the castle so players can't exploit safe spots or hide inside rooms. The entire area becomes a locked boss arena. To activate him, the player opens the coffin where the vampire knife normally spawns. But this time, the knife isn't there. Instead, you trigger Dracula beat him, and he drops a rare item. Bottle of blood, worth $300. But if you actually drink it, that's when things get wild. Drinking it temporarily grants vampire roll abilities. You can bite enemies for 200 damage once every 20 seconds. And if your bite kills them, there's a chance they come back as your follower, or as a hostile vampire, or they just die instantly. It's chaotic, unpredictable, atmospheric, and honestly, it feels perfect for Dead Rails. Now, let's talk about something massive, the War Train. This thing is basically the final form of armored trains. It's slower than the others, moving around 50 speed, but it makes up for it with sheer destructive power and insane defense. The entire train is wrapped in heavy armor plating, and the outside is lined with barbed wire. The wire doesn't damage players or allies, but it looks intimidating as hell. The real highlight, though, is the weaponry. 2 left-facing turrets, 2 right-facing turrets, a rear-facing roof ballista, a forward-facing roof ballista, and a massive front cannon. Each weapon has its own ammo box, turning the entire train into a moving fortress. And here's the coolest part. With this train, you can recruit friendly soldiers from fortified towns to operate the turrets. They won't touch the ballistas or cannon. Those stay player-controlled. But still, the idea of rolling through the desert with a full squad of soldiers firing from your train? That sounds insane. The cost of this monster would be around 350 bonds, which honestly feels fair for something this strong. It's slow, but absolutely devastating. Another concept is the polar opposite. A lightweight, limited-time futuristic train. The hover train. Instead of touching the tracks, it floats just above them, allowing ultra-smooth movement and high speeds. With any class, it moves at 100 speed, but if you're playing as conductor, it hits 125, which would make it one of the fastest trains ever added to the game. It wouldn't be too futuristic to break the Dead Rails vibe. This would be a limited-time item, probably during a special event, and would be perfect for speedrunning or reaching towns quickly during nightmare runs. Next, we've got some small but extremely helpful ideas that players have been asking for. The first is crouching, which would reduce your detection range for enemies. It wouldn't turn Dead Rails into a stealth game, but it would let you avoid unnecessary fights or sneak past mobs if you're low on health. Then we have the torch, which would act like a weaker lantern but still count as a light source. Great for players who want to keep one hand free at night. There's also the concept of throwable dynamite, which works like a grenade. You throw it, it ticks for a moment, then explodes and deals damage in a radius. It would also damage teammates, so you'd have to use it carefully. And finally, dual handguns, which would let you hold two identical pistols at the same time. It's not meta, but it would look amazing. Wild West gunslinger energy, but with Dead Rails chaos. And the last concept for today is honestly one of my favorites, the Jade helmet. This item is a cursed relic, something ancient, dark, and powerful. When the player equips it, it starts mimicking the Necromancer class. Any enemy you kill has a small chance to rise again as your ally, fighting by your side. But the craziest detail is that you can place the helmet on tamed allies, so if you give it to your wolf, or your reanimated follower, they start raising the dead too. Suddenly, your small team becomes a growing undead army following you across the wasteland. And that's the full batch of concepts for today. With the update dropping on November 23rd, or the 22nd for some of you, we're about to enter one of the most exciting weeks in Dead Rails this month. The game already feels alive again, with all the remodels and teasers, and seeing concepts like the scrap Flamethrower, Dracula rework, War Train, Hover Train, Jade Helmet, and all the little gameplay features. It really makes me hope the devs take notice. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It genuinely helps me more than you know, and it keeps me motivated to cover every leak, every update, and every new idea from the community. I'll see you all in the next video. And get ready because update week is almost here.